Comedy Now, Uncensored, starring Jeff McHenry. Please welcome Jeff McHenry.
Oh, thank you very much. Very nice of you. Yeah, all right. I lived here for a couple of years, and things are different down here in Toronto. The music, that's what kills me the most in this city, man. It's true, man. You go anywhere in this city, like a bar or club or restaurant, there's this homogenous pop shit. That's all they play, you know? There's a Lady Gaga and all this other crap, you know, man. You know, that's not music, you know what I mean? Hell, I grew up on a dairy farm, man. I like country music. I'm not ashamed to admit it. You know? Anybody else like country music in here? You know? See, that's the sad thing. See, because there's even more people in here that like country music. They just won't publicly admit to it. That's why, and I know why that is, too. It's because country music, as much as I love it, even I have to admit that it truly is the soundtrack to idiocy. It is, you know, you never heard one of your buddies do something smart and or productive when listening to country music, you know? Never heard one of your buddies go, "Hey, why don't you put on that Brooks and Dunn CD while I finish my thesis?" Me? You never heard that. No, it's more like, "Woo, crank up the Garth Brooks and grab a bat. We gonna fuck up some mailboxes." Said wasn't raised in Toronto, grew up in Acton, Ontario, which is a small town. That's really not necessary. It's a small town. There might be small town people here tonight. Came up with a way you can tell if you are from a small town or not. You know you live in a small town if your town has a Chinese restaurant, but your town doesn't have any Chinese people. That's how you know right there. Shit, we have a Chinese restaurant in Acton. It's called Ernie's. And it's one of these locally owned businesses that can't do one thing right, so they do a bunch of shit bad, you know? It's like, come on down to Ernie's for some wonton soup and bait. What? And while you're down here, get your skate sharpened, too. The only good thing about it, though, is because it's at a shitty local restaurant. There's only like 6 regulars that go there. So the cool thing about this Chinese restaurant, really accurate fortune cookies. It's like, well, what does yours say, honey? Well, it says here, you and your fat girlfriend are gonna eat here again tomorrow night. Right again, Ernie. So we don't have a lot of ethnicities where I'm from, but we got a lot of these white kids that are trying to act like thugs, you know, and I got no problem. Live your life however you want to live it. And you might be able to pull that shit off down here, man. But if you're a white kid, how are you going to try and act like a thug in a small town? You know what I mean? Because I don't care if you're Eminem. It's pretty hard to look gangsta at a horse pull. And I got a buddy named Mike, and Mike turned into one of these kids. I hadn't seen him for a while, and I finally ran into him. Like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going, man?" He's like, "Yo, fuck that Mike shit, man." He's like, "Yo, I got a new handle. Yo, from now on, you call me Dio." I said, "Dio? What do you want me to call you Dio for?" He's like, "Yo, man, it stands for something. It stands for dangerous offspring." I said, "Man, you're a white kid trying to act like a thug in a farming community, man. Who are you the dangerous offspring of? What, did Snoop Dogg fuck John Deere?" Like... Right. No, we love these thugs, too, because they all make the same threat. All these small-town thugs, they all say the same thing. They go, "Yo, man, you better not mess around me, because I know people in Toronto." They all say that, and you're thinking to yourself, man, you better know people in Toronto, because everybody in this town thinks you're an asshole. And that's what this Mike kid tried to tell me. He's like, "Yo, man, don't mess around. I got crew in Toronto." So I decided to call his bluff. I'm like, okay, Mike, where in Toronto? And since Mike has never even been to this city, he picked a weird part of Toronto for his posse to come from. He's like, yo, man, don't mess around. I know people in Woodbridge. I said, Woodbridge, really, Mike? So what, your posse consists of 55-year-old Italian men? Shit, what are you and your posse gonna do? What, are you gonna come over to my house and put up some drywall? Man, it's hard to adjust in the life in this city, man. I first moved here 6 years ago to start doing stand-up. My first week downtown Toronto, I held the door open for this girl as I was going in the store. And me being new to Toronto, I figured this girl would say something ridiculous to me like, oh, I don't know, like, thank you. But she didn't. She goes, oh, you gonna hold the door open for me? Or what do you want me to do now? Blow you? I said, yes. I didn't even realize that was an option. Right on. I got mad. I'm like, yes, dear, that's my game. Yeah, that's how I pick up. Yeah, I go around the city of Toronto doing polite deeds in return for sexual favors. Yeah. Oh, what's that? You need help crossing the street, old lady? Don't jump ahead of me now. First things first, Gladys. It's time for a teabagging. Buckle up, kids. That's the road we're going down tonight. A lot of misconceptions about Toronto. Here's another one. Whoever says Toronto is a city full of beautiful people, those people clearly have never visited my fucking apartment building. Oh my God, man, it's like living in the book Where the Wild Things Are. It is, because every day I just come home to see a different monster roaming the halls. I saw one woman last month in my apartment building, I swear to God, pushing a kid in a stroller, and this woman was so ugly. The only thought that came to my head was, Christ, she has to just be babysitting. That's the only explanation I could come up with. Because in my mind, there's no guy on earth could have looked at this woman and then thought to himself, that's the one I'm going to breed with. It's hard on ugly people. They got it rough nowadays. They do, because we live in such a vain society. Proof of that, all you got to do is look at reality TV. You know what I mean? Shows like Blind Date, Survivor, no ugly people on it. How are there no ugly people on a show called Blind Date? Shit, ugly people, the reason blind dates were invented in the first place. You know, ever see the interviews on that show? They're always so unrealistic. There's always some young, pretty girl all full of life. She's like, yeah, hi, my name is Alicia, and I'm a 26-year-old university student with a rockin' bod. You know, I have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I want to meet a man that enjoys watching the hills and dancing the night away. Woo! Well, those aren't the people that are going on blind dates, man. Just once I'd love to see some desperate old hag on there. You know what I mean? Just making a last-ditch plea to avoid dying alone. Huh? Just, hi, my name is Burl. And I'm a 67-year-old rabbit breeder. I have hazel eyes, one of which is lazy. My hair color's whatever dye was on sale down at the Shoppers Drug Mart. And quite simply put, I'm just looking for a man with a cock and a heartbeat. See, the places that go on these blind dates too, I saw one where a couple went body painting. It's ridiculous. Right? Blind dates don't go body painting. Blind dates don't take each other out in public, man. They don't take each other out in public. Blind dates look at each other in the face and go, ugh. I don't know, you want to grab some takeout? And then devour it in shame in my dark, mirrorless basement, you know? Survivor, remember when Survivor first came on? You had all kinds on that show. You had fat gay dudes walking around, ugly-ass trucker chicks. It was awesome. But the last one they had just all beautiful people, man. It's bullshit. I don't want to see beautiful people compete for $1 million. Look, they already won the genetic lottery, all right? What do they need another reward for? I mean, oh, congratulations, Tina, the swimsuit model. Here's your $1 million. Now you're even better off in life than you were before, you greedy bitch. No, you want to make that show interesting? Get Burl and the gang on there, you know what I mean? Get the freaks from my fucking apartment building on that show. Round up the ugliest pieces of garbage from all four corners of the earth and put them on that thing. Turn that son of a bitch into a real-life island of Dr. Moreau, you know? I mean, that's captivating television right there. You're telling me you guys wouldn't watch that? You wouldn't watch some one-eyed hunchback midget trying to collect firewood? You know, some 700-pound cellulite-covered shut-in scooping salmon out of a river with his bare hands. Just blah, 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 blah. And then those immunity challenges they have could be way more interesting. Can you imagine the immunity challenges on Ugly Survivor? You have immunity challenges like, I don't know, like strip them all naked and make them stare at each other. And then the one that pukes last wins. I'm a skinny guy. Any other skinny guys in here? Clap your skinny guy. There we go. Like 17 guys out of a room with 300 with barely enough strength to clap their hands together. Yeah, I'm cold, right? Hard on us skinny guys. We get picked on all the time. And I know overweight people get picked on too, but you only tease an overweight person for so long, then they just lose it and go, hey man, you better shut up or I'll sit on you. Skinny guys, we can't threaten anybody. What am I gonna say? Hey man, you better stop teasing me or else I'll take off the 2 sweaters I'm wearing and catch the flu and then fucking give it to you. All right. Skinny guy trying to clap in agreement. Yeah. Right. Hard on us skinny guys, man. It is, because there's a misconception that the most self-conscious group of people are overweight women, and it's not. It's underweight guys, because there are a lot of guys out there that like a girl with little meat on their bones. You know what I mean? Little junk in the trunk. That's sexy, and nothing wrong with that. Yeah, see, people clapping, see? But conversely, there's not too many chicks out there that want to blow a dude they can beat in an arm wrestling match. Did a girl just woo? Fuck you. Woo! Not a chance in hell. Woo! It's hard on us skinny guys, man. Because every woman in here, whether they want to admit it or not, all secretly wants a big, strong man in their life to protect them from 3 things. And those 3 things are as follows. Those 3 things are murderers, burglars, and spiders. Spiders, I don't know what it is with spiders that makes you women so terrified, but it could be the toughest woman in the world. Like my sister Allison is a truck with tits. Yeah. Pretend like you're not gonna steal that one. Shut up. She kicked the ass of any guy in here, man, but she sees a spider, she's just running for the hills, man. Just terrified. The only good thing about being a skinny guy, and the skinny guys in here will back me up on this, the cool thing about being a skinny guy, and it almost makes up for all the other shit we gotta go through, when you're a skinny guy, none of your family members ever ask you to help them move. You know, man, it's awesome, man. My family, they have such little confidence in me physically. They don't involve me in any physical activity whatsoever. It's awesome. The only time something like that bugged me was last year. We had this family reunion, and at the family reunion, we decided we were gonna play this game of football, and I got picked last. Now, I'm not great at sports, admittedly, but come on, you're gonna pick me last out of all the family members? Shit, I'd have loved to have been in that team huddle. You know, you wanna pick Jeff? No, fuck it, we'll take Grandma. You know, her scoliosis makes her a low center of gravity. Not the only one that struggles with image in my family, though, because, folks, I have a 10-year-old cousin named Cheyenne, folks, and let me tell you, Cheyenne is the nicest, sweetest, most polite little girl you could ever imagine, but she's just an absolute gargoyle. Just, oh my God. Oh, just a hideous man-beast. My God. My God. And you know she's ugly because her parents blame each other for her features? I'm like, hey, Aunt Deb, she's got your nose. Bullshit. She gets that mangled beak from her father. It's hard on us relatives, too, because we always got to get Cheyenne the same gifts every year for Christmas. You know, balaclava. Football helmet, motorcycle helmet. Hear a couple people on. Don't awe. You all know ugly kids happen. Shut up. You all know that because you all had like a friend or relative hand you a picture of their newborn, and then you start tearing up for all the wrong reasons. Well, here he is. Oh, Bob. Bob, you fucked something up, man. What is that? What a horrible thing being the parents of an ugly kid. Oh, my God, kid. What a horrible fate that'd be to watch this human being you created and love just slowly get uglier and uglier as the years go by. And then what can you do with nothing? You're stuck with the damn things. The ugly kids, they're not like a shitty toaster. They don't come with a receipt, you know. You can't take them back and say, excuse me, Mr. Stork, but it looks like you dropped this one on its face. You can't do that. What can you do with your ugly kid? Nothing, just keep them locked up in their room when you have company over. And hope they develop a knack for radio broadcasting. That's what... Because what are you going to do? You're going to go out in public with your ugly kid? Man, going out in public with your ugly kid, then it's almost like for the rest of your life you're at a science fair and you did a really shitty project, you know? People coming up to you and you got to go, well, this is what I made. You know, and I have sympathy for like families got like one ugly kid, but you ever see these families like 4 or 5 ugly kids? How does that happen, man? That's like baking a cake with the same ingredients. If the first one turns out shitty, why the fuck would you bake 3 more? Got an odd family, man. Some of them like me doing stand-up, some of them don't. My Aunt Cheryl, she's always on my case. Whenever she sees me, my aunt goes, you know, Jeff, when you're out there doing your little comedy skits, she says, I go out there in the real world 5 days a week and I work my ass off. You know where's where? I'm not making this up. She works at an muffins. Guys, you can't work your ass off at a fucking muffin. I'm sorry, it's impossible. Muffins. If you're over 45 and work there like my aunt, it's more like, man, I should have finished high school. And then the guys in my family, we can't relate on anything because they're all these manly men, you know what I mean? I got my cousin, they're these meathead farmer cousins, man. They're manly men, they do everything. They hunt and fish and fix cars. I can't do any of that shit. The only thing I can do well is write, and writing might seem like a practical skill to have, but it really isn't in my family. Like, I know nobody in my family gives a shit about writing, because whenever I run into my meathead farmer cousins, I always quiz them on their literary knowledge. I always say, now, gentlemen, I've forgotten just how many syllables are in a haiku. And they always give me the same incorrect answer. They always say, dude, you're such a homo. Right, because for some reason they associate intelligence with homosexuality. They do. I remember when I graduated college, I ran into them again. I said, hey, guys, I just got my diploma. They're like, oh, yeah, from where? Cocksucking University? Well, come on, boys. Let's all go jerk off to the auto trader. Because they're meatheads and they pick on me, but it's my own fault they pick on me because I'm way too passive of a person. I really am. Like, I talk a big game when I'm up here on stage. But honestly, if any one of you ran into me in the street after the show, you could kick me in the dick as hard as you can. And the only thing I'd say to you is, oh, sorry, my dick must have gotten in the way of your foot there. I hate it so much. Anybody else I got in here, anybody else constantly get screwed over and not say anything about it? It's horrible, isn't it? We never stand up for ourselves when we're getting screwed over. We just bitch to our friends afterwards. And then when we're bitching to our friends afterwards, we all say the same thing to make ourselves sound tough. We all say this one. We all say, I'm telling you, man, I just about snapped. That's what we say, isn't it? I just about snapped. Yeah, you know what that's short for? That's short for I just about snapped, comma. But then instead, I just bent over like a submissive piece of shit. And allowed life to just ram me up the ass one more time. They used to bug me in high school. That's where they bugged me most, the meathead cousins. Because I wasn't smooth with girls in high school, so they bugged me about little things like the bases and stuff like that. Be like, come on, Jeff, you've at least made the second base with a girl, haven't you? I'm like, bases? Fuck the bases, man. I'm still in my car looking for a ball diamond. Worse were the dances in high school, though. Here's a quick impression of me every dance I went to in high school. Here, pretend like this is the back wall. Here's me every dance I went to in high school. Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But even worse than that was at the end of the night, because that's when the DJ got on the microphone. He'd be like, all right, guys and girls, this here's the last song of the night. So all you boys, grab your girlfriends. And as for Jeff McHenry, get the fuck out of here. You can finish that awkward conversation you're having with your English teacher in class tomorrow. And it's such a weird complex, man, because I love doing that, like talking to a room full of people like this, nationally televised. It's the easiest thing in the world for me. But you get me in a one-on-one conversation with a girl I really like, I'll say some stupid shit, man. I swear, I took a girl out to a bar last year, and I'm trying to play the sympathy angle with her. I go, I shouldn't even be on a date with you because of my looks. And the girl says, now, Jeff, don't say that. Looks aren't the only thing that matter. Right. And this is my dynamite line I use to sweep her off her feet. I swear to God, I look at this girl, I go, oh, that's easy for you to say. Hell, you're better looking than 60% of the girls in here. Yeah, that's the number I went with. 60%. 60%. Yes, my darling, as I gaze at your slightly above average face. And then allow my eyes to drift downward and inspect your barely passable figure. I can think of but only one word to describe your appearance. Satisfactory. Oh, my God. And then the women that hit on me, man, in a word, duh. Swear to God, last year, one of the meatheads got married, and at the wedding reception, there's a woman running her finger up and down my arm, whispering sweet nothings in my ear. Here's the problem, not making this up. This woman legitimately 73 years old. 73 years, name's Joanne Miller, used to hit on my dad, okay? I wish this shit was a joke and not a memory, okay? But yeah, 73 years old. 73, you know how old that is? You guys heard the expression cougar? 73, she's so old, she's not even a cougar. She predates cougars. She's like a fucking saber-toothed tiger. I'm a very sensitive guy. I'm too sensitive, in fact. I'm so sensitive I don't even watch porn. I don't, because I have a sneaking suspicion that most people having sex in those types of movies aren't even really in love. You know, call me a hopeless romantic, but I want to see commitment in those Asian schoolgirls' eyes, you know? So like a lot of guys that aren't smooth, they end up at the strip club a lot. Thing I don't like about strip club, the awkward small talk you get when you're in there. It's so insincere. I was in one a couple of months ago for my 25th birthday, and I go in the VIP room, and first of all, I love the term VIP room, eh? As if there's any VIPs at a strip club. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm a very important, dirty asshole. You know? So my cousin pays me to lap dance. I go in the VIP room, and I'm in the VIP room with the stripper, and she's doing her thing, you know, she's doing her thing. Right. And all of a sudden, in the middle of a lap dance, she stops and she goes, so what do you like to do for fun? So what do I like to do for fun? I don't know, I collect baseball cards? And I've always had a secret passion for calligraphy. What the fuck do you care? What do I like to do for fun? Look, let me explain something to you. Look. I'm a 25-year-old stand-up comic who, on the pussy meter, is located somewhere in between a monk and kids that do backyard wrestling. And you're a middle-aged Ukrainian stripper with scurvy. The only thing we have in common is sadness. And scurvy. So much fun getting to do this, man. Because you have some good shows, you have some bad shows, man. Worst show I ever had, Williams Lake, British Columbia. Oh, my God. Just despised me. Oh, my God, did these people hate me performing for 250 old hate-filled loggers. Oh, my God. Old hate-filled redneck lawyer, just despite. The only way that crowd would have hated me more is after I finished my set, I got off stage and just immediately started making out with a black guy. That's... There's my BC fan base for me. But I'm used to getting hated, man, because what did I do before I did stand-up? What did I do that made me so hated before I did stand-up? I was a telemarketer. Oh, my God. Oh, do people hate you when you're a telemarketer? Oh, my God. And I know that it's hard to have sympathy for telemarketers, but the sad thing is the hatred you guys, the general public, have for telemarketers doesn't even come close to matching the hatred telemarketers have for themselves, okay? Because that's nobody's dream job, being a telemarketer. You know what I mean? When you're a little kid, you're dreaming about becoming a baseball player or a princess or a fireman. Nobody ever dreams about one day becoming an irrelevant survey monkey with a career that a carny would piss on, okay? I had to get out of it when I did, man, because that would have been the time I actually did snap. I say I'll snap all the time. That would have been the time I actually did doing one of those surveys, you know what I mean? Like, okay, sir, how would you rate your current newspaper? Would you say it's A, good, B, fair, or C, poor? B, thank you very much, sir. Okay, next question, snap. Yeah, I got a fucking question for you. At what point in the day would you say I reached my lowest? Is it A, while looking at my irrelevant reflection in a mirror, B, when my parents phone me up to tell me they're not proud of me for doing this shit, or C, when I use my 15-minute cigarette break to go to the bathroom and jerk off? C, you're absolutely correct, sir. That's right, and I'm not lying about that either. I did. I jerked off all the time at work when I was a telemarketer. I did. I didn't even lock the door. I didn't care. I didn't. Because if one of my coworkers ever caught me and they reported me to my boss and the boss asked me what the hell I was doing, I'd just say, hey, I'm just giving in to popular demand, boss. Do you know how many people today have told me to go fuck myself? You know what the sad thing is? Not even the worst job I ever had. Not because I swear to God, this is true. This is another one I wish I was making up. Guys, years ago, when I was in grade 9, I got fired 2 hours into my training shift at KFC because the manager thought I was legitimately mentally challenged. I swear to God, that's true. What happened was this manager, he put me on bread and chicken, and I did such a terrible job of it for 2 hours that he pulls me off of it and he goes, okay, Jeff, that's obviously a little too fast-paced for you. He goes, why don't you make the boxes for the fries? So I asked him, I said, well, how do you make the boxes? Which apparently was a dumb question to ask. Because he responded by saying, and I'm quoting him, I swear to God, I'm quoting him directly. He goes, you're retarded, aren't you? And I said, no, I'm not retarded. I asked you, how do you make the boxes, not what time does the colonel get here? And he goes, no, you're retarded. And I think it'd be best if you just left. And you know what I did? I just left. I did, and I didn't fight him on it or anything. And I'm pretty sure I could have, because guys, I don't know a lot about the law, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to fire one of your employees on the grounds of suspected retardation. Mention the small town stuff. We got problems in small towns. We really do, man. Like I said, we ain't got a lot of ethnicities or anything like that, but we can still have small town ignorance, man. It's bad where I'm from, man. And let me explain something. It's not racist. It's not prejudice. It's not hate-filled. It's just ignorance. I'll give you a perfect example. I swear to God, this happened. Where I'm from, they had to rename the foreign guy at my uncle's work because nobody could pronounce his real name. That actually happened in my hometown. A guy came in his first day at work. They're like, welcome to Superior Glove, fella. What's your name? My name is Muhasib Akbar. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Phil. You can't do that. Cops are bad too, man, because it always makes news when there's corruption on like a big police force, you know what I mean? Like something down here, you know what I mean? Like the, I don't know, like the Toronto Police Force or NYPD. Let me tell you something, man, there's nothing more corrupt than a small town police force, okay? Because there's not a lot of crime that goes on in small towns, so the only people cops harass are just people they got personal vendettas against. I mean, it's like, you know the reason I pulled you over tonight? Is because my sister broke up with you 3 weeks ago? You're fucking right it is, buddy. Now, am I gonna have to write you up again, or are you gonna get that bitch to give me back my Kim Mitchell CDs? That was my demographic summed up in a laugh right there. That was awesome. Drugs are bad too, man. Friends are always trying to get me to do stuff like that. And it just wasn't for me, man. But they'd always use like a creative excuse on me. Always use like a creative excuse because they knew I wanted to get into stand-up and stuff like that, so they used like a creative excuse. They'd be like, come on, Jeff, you know, Richard Pryor, Johnny Cash, the Beatles, some of the greatest artists of all time have been drug users. And I'm like, yeah, man, but so are some of the greatest employees at Muffins. And besides, I've seen you guys in action, okay? When you guys get high, you don't write Let It Be. Okay, you just play Grand Theft Auto for 7 hours and then draw a vagina on the forehead of the guy that passes out first. Look, Mitch is a pussy. So while I don't do drugs, drinking, man, we take pride in our drinking where I'm from. Holy shit. People in Toronto or any other big city, they think they can drink. It's only you go to a bar down here, we over here like a preppy bragging to another preppy, you know, like, hey, Nigel, I've got an equation for you. They're like 4 Crantinis plus this guy equals I am fucking hammered. You don't hear that out in the country, man. You go to a country party, you overhear shit like, Doug, if you don't finish your 2-4, you're not getting your keys back. Because in Toronto, alcoholism's a disease. Where I'm from, it's a tradition, you know what I mean? In the country, it's a tradition, man. It's true, you go up to any country boy and be like, hey, man, I think you're an alcoholic. You goddamn right I am. Just like my daddy. Oh, my God, man. Oh, my God. I swear to God, you ever met some of my relatives? Oh, my God, you'd realize that the McHenrys, we might not have invented fetal alcohol syndrome, but we damn sure perfected it. I'm not saying there's a lot of drunks in my family, but I have 7 uncles. 5 of them are nicknamed Shakes. Figure that one out. Can't drink out in bars anymore with my friends. Got really dumb friends. We all got friends like this, eh? They get a little booze and they start picking fights. But I got one buddy in particular. For some reason, this asshole likes to pick fights with guys over 40. Now, I'm 25. Is there any 25-year-olds? Is any other 25-year-olds in here? Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't pick a fight with a guy over 40. They'll murder you. Okay, because I don't care. You can be 25 and be in the best shape of your life. There's no substitute on this earth for dad rage. And all the dads in here know exactly what I'm talking about. Dads, you know that every time your kids do something to really piss you off, you don't take it out on them. No, you let that shit bottle up inside you. And you just can't wait for the day you're out at the bar and some young punk kid bumps into you, spills your drink all over your shirt and goes, hey, old man, you want to fucking go? Because that's when you dads stand up, crack your knuckles, and go, why, yes, son, yes, I think I do. And then you just unload 15 years of pent-up bullshit on them. Right? They're fucking cracking the kid in the face going, and this is for the time my daughter asked me if her unemployed boyfriend could move into our basement, you piece of shit. And this is for the time my son dropped out of law school to join a ska band. Fuck you. That's right. Young people fear going to jail, not dads. Shit. Dads will go to jail just to get out of driving their kids to hockey in the morning. They don't care. Sir, we're going to have to take you into custody. Well, it looks like the wife's got to get up at 5 a.m. Don't drink and drive, folks. Are stupid. I don't drink and drive. Well, not since those fucking pigs took my license. Don't applaud that. That was terrifying. My God. Don't, but I'm not gonna lie, I have gotten a ride home with a drunk driver before, and the most terrifying experience of my life. I'll tell you guys the story. It's me and my best friend Dave, and we go to this house party, and I get so drunk at this thing, all I want to do is pass out. So I go in my buddy's spare bedroom, and I'm lying there for 5-10 minutes. And that's when I realize I got the spin so bad that I'm too drunk to sleep. You ever been too drunk to sleep? Isn't that a proud moment for you right there? I'm lying down in the spare bed, too drunk to sleep, you know what I mean? Because, hey, when you're too drunk to sleep, that's when you realize, hey man, you know, I can drink a bottle of water and go back to bed, or I can do 4 more shots of tequila and pass out in the bathroom. And tequila wins out every time, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You wake up at 7 a.m. the next day on that cold ceramic tile, some guy you don't know kicking the ribs going, get out of the bathroom, I got the beer shits, get out, bro. This time I did the responsible thing. I just grabbed a bottle of water, I sat down on the couch, and I'm thinking about going back to bed. So as I'm sitting there on the couch, that's when my buddy Dave, he stumbles up to me, my buddy Dave, and he goes, hey Jeff, you want to hit the road? Let's head on back home to Acton. Just almost throwing up in his mouth as he's saying this. Am I right? Almost puking. So me, being a comic, I'm observant, all right? I pick up on this. I say to my buddy Dave, I say, Dave, don't think a little too drunk to be driving. And this is what my buddy Dave says to me, and I can't write jokes like this. I swear to God, my buddy Dave looks at me, he goes, yeah, I'm a little bit hammered, but fuck it, we'll stop and get a pita. Stop and get a pita? What kind of drunk logic is that? Right, but I'm so drunk, my only response to that is, oh shit, I like pitas. So we hop in the truck and we go to Pita Pit. Now we get there, we're eating our pitas, not really enjoying them though, because for guys, eating drunk is a lot like drunk sex for us. And our senses are so dull, we don't really feel anything. We're just trying to cram shit in the hole. Tell me I'm lying, shut up. We get back in the truck, and most of the way home, Dave doing a killer job, so I start to get a little cocky. I'm like, oh shit, Dave's got this one, so I just gaze out the side of the window. But when I turn around about 5 minutes later, that's when Dave decided he's gonna play a little game while he's driving. He's gonna spice things up a bit, and the game, folks, is called bobbing for steering wheel. So I get terrified, right? I'm like, Dave, you gotta wake up, buddy. Dave goes, oh, sorry, Jeff, you mind if I turn on the radio? Help keep me awake. So I'm like, sure, Dave, turn the radio. What's he turn it to? Fucking country music station. And not just any country song playing at the time, that stupid Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy song was on. As soon as Dave hears this, the idiot switch just clicks, man. He goes, dude, I love this song. And he cranks up the radio. Then I look at the speedometer, 85, 90, 95. Starts accelerating. So I'm terrified, right? Then I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He rolls down the one. What the hell is he doing? Starts air bullwhipping up the side of the truck. Yeah. Get out of my way, you sons of bitches. So I'm horrified, right? But just as I can't get any more scared, just as I can't get any more terrified, that's when my buddy Dave turns to me and he says to me the two words that, as a passenger, you never want to hear drunk drivers say to you. He looks at me and he goes, watch this. I said, watch this. Dave hammers it, takes us off into a fucking field. And we start doing donuts like we won Daytona. Just, so guys, a little tip for you. Guys, if you're ever at a house party and your ride home is even drunker than you, unless you want to end up doing donuts in a field with your head full of regret and your pants full of shit, I suggest you think things over and call a cab. Thank you so much for your time, guys.